Okay, so the reason why I wanted to do this class specifically before Pesach was because I had someone posted on the single mother group, independent women group, that what do you do for Pesach? I don't understand. Like, it's so sad, it's so hard, and I want to be with family, but I don't know, how to do it, where to go, what to do. So this happened to me on Sukkot, and it was after I learned Parakeh and Tanya of Shar Emunah, Shar B'tachon Emunah, and Shar Yichud Emunah. Sorry, I knew I always get that wrong. But anyways, I learned Parakeh, and it was life-changing. And I figured that I would share it now, so you girls could create it for yourselves as well, whatever it is that you want to experience Pesach with. And you can obviously apply this to so many other things, which I've also, thank you Hashem, gave me a little bit more new material that recently happened, also just using what I learned on Parakeh. So a little background about me first, just because it's more personal that way. So I'm Yael, and I grew up in Hollywood, Florida, in Emerald Hills. I lived there till I was about 13, then I made Aliyah with my parents. We lived in Ramat HaGolan, in the Golan Heights, all the way up in the mountains, in 2004, when there was no one else that spoke English there. It was really fun. And then we moved around a little bit. My parents are Colombian, so we ended up moving to Colombia at some point, and then we came back to Israel, and then I got married in Israel. And then my claim to fame is I got married with my dream wedding on Marat HaMachpelah right outside. It was really beautiful and special. I never in my life thought I was going to leave Israel. But of course Hashem had other plans. And so both my kids were born there. And then we ended up moving back to Florida in 2015. So in 2015, we moved to for Parnasa and also Shalom Bayit, and his family was very, overbearing, and mine was also, and we were both oldest that got married and had babies and everything, and everyone it was very hard in our marriage, and it's not the reason we got divorced, but it was a big part of it when we left Israel, and we moved here, and then I guess 4 months into it, it was not working out at all, got worse, and he ended up going back to Israel, and I got left here with the 2 kids, and thank God, which at the time I was not happy about it. I was really sad that, I used to remember friends that would get divorced, and they had every other Shabbos off because they would send to the ex-husband, and I used to be so jealous. I used to be like, Hashem, I just need a break, just one Shabbos, something, anything. I can't. They were so little. They were 3 and 1.5. So it was really hard. But now, and Hashem gives everyone what they need, and thank God, I'm actually really grateful that it worked out the way it did for many reasons. And he lives in Israel, and he's remarried, and he has his own life. He's not really involved, but that's okay. And it works out better that way right now. So so I've been doing this for a long time, the single mom thing, about 7 years. So became a professional. But thank God I had really good support systems, always just wherever I lived, thank God I always had a good community, and that was really great. Now, so that's just about me. And then now I'm going to tell you about what I learned. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Eran and Khani Israel. They live here in Hallandale. Amazing. Yeah, they're amazing.
We just started. So
yeah, didn't miss anything. Come on in. So it was right before Sukkot, and she said, if whoever learns a parak of Tanya by heart, we're going to give a certain amount of money. Whoever learns 2 parakim, another, and then whoever learns 3 gets a significant amount of money. And I was like, oh my gosh, Sukkot is coming, and I really want to have that delicious family feeling of a chag. I don't want to be a single mom, guest with my kids at someone's meal, because I don't want to be by myself, doing the chag all by myself, and it just wasn't, I wanted to have that delicious, yummy feeling, and I was very clear on that. So I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to learn these Prakim Tanya, I'm going to make the money, and then I'm going to take that money and go somewhere with my kids, Israel or whatever, somewhere where my family is at. And then, so I started learning it, and then I only ended up learning 1 by heart, and it was this parak that we're going to talk about a bit. And when I learned it, the reason why I didn't learn the other ones, I literally just focused all my energy and attention on this one because I believe this is like the answer to literally manifesting whatever it is that you want, creating your own reality, and it's in the Torah. Like, it's not like you can't make this up. Like, it's crazy and it works every time. So what happened was I ended up learning that one parak. I learned this amazing lesson, and I just made a decision. I made a decision that whatever it is, this coming Sukkot, I am going to have that delicious family feeling. I'm going to be with family. It's going to be an amazing Chag. And then, I don't know what it looks like. I'm not, doing anything about, like, I'm not making any decisions about where I'm going or what I'm doing, but I just know I'm going to be with family and it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to travel with my kids. I never had the opportunity because it took a long time to get their passports back, and that was the whole thing. So finally, after 7 years, I'm like, that's it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a beautiful sukkahs with my children, traveling elsewhere, and with family. So I didn't know what that was going to look like, but I started applying what I learned, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And I started already like acting as if I'm already leaving, so I started packing my suitcases. Now my bank account does not show you that I can afford to go even to Disney World. I know I'm doing something amazing. It's going to be awesome. And a friend called me up and asked me, hey, what are you up to? What are you doing for Sukkot? I was like, I don't know. I'm going to be with family. He's like, awesome. Where's the family where's the family, like where do they live? Where are you going? I'm like, I don't know, but my family that I usually spend the Chagim with actually went to Singapore for Sukkot. The Goldstein. So I was like, I'm going to go to them. I don't know how, but I'm going to go. And he's like, okay. And where are they? I was like, in Singapore, and they're there for a month, and I have everything taken care of. I'm going to work on getting my flight somehow, and it's going to happen. And he's like, oh yeah, it is. No problem. I'll send them to you tomorrow. Literally like that. Just straight up. And this is just a friend, like really random.
Send what to you tomorrow?
Tickets for me and my children to go to Singapore.
Wow.
Yes. Now, I got tickets.
Can I call this friend?
So I got tickets to go to Singapore for me and my children. And I was like, oh my gosh, this actually works. Like, whatever I applied here actually works. And it's happening. But everything that could go wrong with going to Singapore went wrong. The family I was going to stay by got COVID. The other hotels that were near the shul, because I was going to go from Yom Kippur till after Sukkot. The shul, everything was booked up because they get to book solid there very quickly. Everything I wanted to go to was too expensive, and I would have to figure it, and I just didn't even have money for the tickets. So everything that went wrong, and I was like, oh, Hashem, I just learned this. What is happening? So I'm very embarrassed. I called my friend. I'm like, I am so sorry. You're going to have to cancel those, and I can't go. But I still knew I was going to have a family sukkah. It wasn't Singapore. So I ended up, so he says, oh, okay, no problem. I called up on a Thursday, and I told him I can't. And he's like, no problem, canceled my tickets, and on Friday, the next day, sent me tickets to go to Israel for the following Sunday, so just 2 days later. So he sent me to Israel, and I was just I didn't really want to go to Israel. I haven't been there in a long time, and also their dad is there. It was just a lot of whatever, but I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna go with it, and I decided, this is what I created. So he sent me to Israel, and I have to tell you, I had exactly the feeling that I wanted to have with my children, traveling somewhere fun, having that fun and delicious feeling of not being a guest, but with family, and I have a lot of family friends there too that just feels like family, that it doesn't feel like you're a guest. And I was able to take my kids to the Golan and show them the different Mayanot, the different waterfalls and water springs I used to hike when I was a teenager, and things like that, and it was really special. And that's how I got that into fruition. So when I came back, I actually learned this again, because I was like, it doesn't make sense. I have to understand more, why didn't it work out with Singapore? If that's it was so amazing, that's a crazy story. Singapore is so exotic, and I told Hashem, that's what I want. But he ended up sending me to Israel, but I still got the feeling that I wanted to have. So when I relearned it, I'll just go into it now a little bit, and then you guys will see what I learned. So we're not going to do Be'iyun, but I did send on the WhatsApp group if anyone wants to have the parak. Hey, so it's in there. I sent it on a PDF.
Yeah, I started this WhatsApp just for the single mothers. So whoever doesn't is not on it.
Oh, yes, please.
I can post it again on my broadcast so that you can be part of it, because
Yeah.
she wanted like to
Yeah.
create
Do
a
you want to
network
ask?
between you guys, like to help each other.
Yes, yes, yes. So if anyone wants to be in it, who's not, please. I mean, we're not super active on it, because I also don't want it to be like so like, you know, dinging all the time, whatever. Like really want it for like people that, you know, for things that we can help each other with or whatever. It's not really to just like post like random things, but it's to help each other, really, just be like sisters. So, okay, so I'm gonna ask, so how many of you guys actually believe that you can create your own reality?
Manifest?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes? You do. Have you guys ever had like that experience where you're just like thinking of someone and all of a sudden they show up in your space, whether they call or you just see them bump into them in the supermarket, or you, I don't know, all of a sudden someone's like, oh, you should be friends with so-and-so, and you're like, I am friends with her, and all of a sudden she's there, like they just show up in your space. So that is actually something very powerful that, so that's exactly what manifesting is. Now, all day long, we're manifesting. All day long. We're constantly manifesting. And then the only difference is now that is just manifesting deliberately. Being aware when you're manifesting, because we're all day manifesting. If you're thinking, oh, I don't have enough money, guess what you're manifesting? Or if you're thinking, oh, I'm so tired, guess what you're manifesting? And that's things that you're not even like aware that we're doing. So, anyways, so it talks mostly about how Hashem created this world. He first created Midat Hadin, which is the judgment, and then he added Midat HaRachamim, and but basically, in essence, what I got the most from this is that he left this world with Netzach, Hod, Yesod. These are literally like the foundations of manifesting. So,
You're going to translate for everybody?
oh yes, okay. So, first of all, just a basic thing, like there's literally a mitzvah in the Torah that you have to be happy. And literally that's a mitzvah, like Liot B'Simcha is just, it's a mitzvah from the Torah. And also to think good, that's also another mitzvah in the Torah. You have to think good, you have to be happy. And obviously it's not always so easy because we get enrolled in our, you know, identities or whatever it is. But we can bring these points in a much deeper level. And if we're deliberate with it, that's how you can create going to Singapore, going to Israel, or doing whatever it is you want to do for this Pesach right now. So, Netzach. What Netzach means is, it has two meanings. It has victory and eternity. And Hod means like majesty, and Yesod is foundation. So when I was learning it, I was like, I don't understand. Like, why is Hashem saying he left this world with Netzach, victory and for eternity, Hod, majesty, and then foundation, like Yesod? Doesn't really make sense, because if you're a human, you would think that if a king wanted to have his Yesod, his foundation, you know, he wants to announce himself, like majesty and announce his victory for eternity, first he needs to have a castle. That's the Yesod. First let him have a castle. Then he can act like a king, and then he can, say, that's it, this is my netzach for eternity, right? My victory for eternity. But Hashem's like, no, this is not how that works. This is actually the exact opposite. You first have to make that decision, which is what I did, which is why I ended up having that amazing time for Sukkot. So when you make a decision from a clear space, deciding, this is my netzach, it doesn't matter. I just knew I was going to have that delicious feeling of with family for the chagim. I just knew I was going to have that, and that was just the netzach. How it happens is not our business. Let that be the surprise of life. And then Hod is majesty, so you start acting as if that's already happening. I already started packing my suitcases, even though my bank account didn't tell you I could, And I just knew I was going to travel with my children. I was going to go somewhere with family, and I just kept that. So the fact that it didn't come, actually, I didn't end up going to Singapore and I ended up going to Israel, was even more powerful, because it's like so much more. It's like you don't get to decide exactly what it's going to look like. Like, you don't get to decide. You can say, okay, I'm going to get married and have this amazing relationship, but you don't get to decide what face is going to be under that chuppah. Like, don't be so attached to what you think it's supposed to look like. I thought it was supposed to be Singapore. And the more attached I was to Singapore, the more things started to not work out. and I couldn't go. And I was like fighting the system, and I was like, but I need to go. I need to make it happen. So I'm calling like lots of family and friends and everyone. Like I have to find somewhere else to stay, and it's okay that family got COVID, but I'm gonna figure it out. And fighting, and literally every fought, I was just losing. Every fight, I was losing. And when I let it go, and I was like, it doesn't matter. I know Hashem is gonna send me my netzach, which is the feeling that I wanted. And I ended up going to Israel, and I went openly, because I just was like, okay, this is what it is. And when the minute I was open about it, that's when that's exactly the feelings I wanted and more. Like I couldn't even, like it was just like my netzach and even more enhanced. Like my yesod, my foundation, just became even more vibrant, amazing, like really, really special. So it's really just like, you can learn this parak more. It's very short. I even managed to learn it by heart, so you can learn it. And the link that I sent actually has the commentaries of, from the Rebbe, and also just like different teachings, and just explains it even more in depth. That's what I got out of it, and that's what I wanted to share with you girls as single mamas. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be just that. Like, so actually, before I knew I was doing the class, I was like, once I knew I was doing the class, I was like, Hashem, come on, give me new material. Like, it's like this was such a long time ago, please. And I was working on something, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna work so hard. I'm just gonna make a decision. Here's my netzach. My netzach was that I was going to, I just needed to make more money, and I knew it was gonna happen like, wow. And I don't know how, but I just knew that I was gonna feel more fulfilled with whatever it was. And I was like dancing in a little bit different like things. Like I tried real estate a little bit. I did like certain random businesses, like random things. And then this business that I currently work in, I've been working in for 2 years, but it was like, you know what, I'm stopping to fight the fact that I'm here. Okay, first of all, one thing. Be okay with where you're at, okay? Never fight where you're at, because you have to be where you're at. And once you're okay with it, you're able to move on from there. But the more you fight it, the more you're stuck in that position. So the more you're fighting poverty, or the more you're fighting whatever, it's going to be harder and take much longer for you to get out. And really, your neshama is your guiding system. It's all day telling you what to do, where to go, redirecting you, giving you insight. We don't hear it because our minds are so loud that we just like kind of tune it out, fade it out. Or a lot of us maybe have some trauma. So I can speak for myself, that like doubt ourselves too much. Like I doubt myself a lot. I used to doubt myself a lot because I was raised in a certain way or whatever it was. And, I just, always thought I was wrong. I always, and so I lost that connection to like really hear myself and really feel my neshama. So the more that you stop fighting with where you're at, and you're just happy, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just okay. So then I'm just here. I'm here right now, and I'm whatever. But I knew that my netzach was that I'm gonna have this amazing breakthrough, and something phenomenal is gonna happen. And this week, I started I found like literally like a gold mine for the business, the company that I'm working for. And they allowed me to manage this part of it, and it's going to be mine. And today was day 2, and it was already so busy. So B'ezrat Hashem for Pesach, I'm going to be able to afford my own tickets to Singapore, maybe, hopefully. Or like whatever it is, Hashem's going to just help, like whatever I decide to do with whatever. But B'ezrat Hashem, really, it's it happened. That's it. It's in fruition. It's already, like my yesod is already popping up. Same thing happens to be like I was trying to get married so badly. Like the minute I got divorced, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get married right away and whatever. And I had to go through all these things. And the minute I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna let it go. And it's okay. I'm okay with where I'm at. And if I have to be single for another 7 years, then I'll be single for another 7 years. It doesn't matter. Time's gonna go by anyway. It's too bad to be fighting yourself all day long and being depressed and sad. So I just went with it. And just like the Singapore and Israel, who I thought I wanted to marry because I was dating someone a little while ago for a while. It wasn't. He was my Singapore. He wasn't my Israel. And now, who I didn't expect to be my Israel, let me tell you, I am shocked still right now. But yeah, so we started seeing each other, and it's going much, like one of the most healthiest relationships I've ever been in. And clearly it's also because I'm more in a relationship with myself. Like I work really hard on myself to listen to myself more, and whether it's meditating or davening or singing or just sitting in silence. In the morning, my alarm goes off and I hit snooze not to go back to sleep. I just sit with myself. That's the best time actually to do it, because it's so clear, like clean slate. Like nothing happened yet. It's a brand new day. Just okay, make a decision. What's your netzach for the day? So my netzach for the day, and then I get up and I just act as if my netzach already happened, and then my yesod just comes. It's just law of attraction. It's just the laws of nature, and literally like what the Tanya says, like what it teaches. So actually, if you want somebody, I sent it on the group. I don't know who's in the group, but yeah, you want to read just the first part in English, that with the preface to it.
Is an attachment, the chapter chart?
Yeah. Yes. Shari Chudamra.
Okay, the first sentence?
The first, the first like little paragraph that's before the actual text.
And the one that said thanks to God?
I don't know. Can I have it? Okay.
Which book was it?
Yeah.
Like
That
it's,
one.
Are you in
Yeah.
that group?
Okay, so you want to read it?
The-
Oh, we'll add you. It's a independent.
I posted a while
I
ago.
thought that was the one I thought that was a novice group.
No.
So I thought I was already in that group. So I didn't join it.
So I'm gonna send it to you again.
I'll send it to people.
So if you want to read it, then read it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thanks to God's attribute of Gevura and his capacity for Simsum, as the Alter Rebbe explained in the foregoing chapter, created beings live in the illusion that they possess an independent and tangible existence. They are unaware of the divine life force continuously found within them. Being thus insensitive to the force that animates them, they are able to think of themselves as existing independently of their source. They fail to perceive that in truth, they are but a diffusion of the rays of their source, like the diffusion of the sun's rays as they are found within the sun.
Yeah, it's very deep, like very deep. When you understand that we all, because we're human and it's part of our nature and it's just how Hashem created us, we think that this is so real. This yesod, this fruition, this castle, this building, this chair, this body is so real. We're so invested that it's so real. That's why we think, when I was learning, I was like, no, you have to first have a castle, then you can anoint yourself a king, and then you can declare your victory. It's just how, how human nature is. You have to have the yesod first, because that's what we're born to think like. But if we really understand that we're really from a divine source, just like the sun and the rays, we're just the ray from the actual source, but we're still part of the source. And we get that we first have the netzach, and then we do the yesod, and then, netzach hod, and then the yesod comes into fruition, then we would understand. But we're so individual, and we think that this is like, no, I have to work really, really hard to get what I want. Honey, no, you don't. Like, really, we don't. None of us do. We could just make a decision in the morning and allow Hashem, your neshama, first of all, to guide you to whatever it is you need to do. And number two, to it's really emunah. It's really just having so much emunah that whatever you decide, Hashem loves you so much, He's going to allow for you to be there and do that. So now, part of the reason why I made this WhatsApp group was because I really want us to help support each other. I know a lot of times we have a lot of, and I speak for myself too, we have a lot of tendencies to become the victim and just share our victim stories because they're really entertaining. I know, trust me, I have a beautifully, very animated one. But that's not, the more we talk it and the more we stay there and the more we say, oh, I'm a single mom struggling, that's your netzach is going to end up, you end up manifesting all day long. You're manifesting. Just do it deliberately and be careful with your words, because words are very powerful. And then you can just, make decisions deliberately. And you know what? Sometimes it's okay. You want to go be sad? Go be sad. Go deliberately be sad. Go to your room, cry, throw a tantrum, scream, throw pillows, whatever it is you got to do, deliberately. And then, okay, reground yourself. Okay, now what's my netzach? And then the point of the group now is to really help each other. Like, anyone needs like a helping hand, like, hey, you want to pick up my kids, or is there any way someone can help me out, or whatever it is. And also from here on out, I would love if you girls start practicing the netzach hod yesod, and just in your own lives, every time you have a win, just share your win. Let's celebrate that instead of celebrating our victimhood and our, there's no need for that. Yes. So anytime.
Yeah, that's really helpful because
That's what I'm looking for a
Tell me,
group
like,
for.
it's okay to have a hard day, but like, what happened today that was like good? Like, let's focus on that. Because the more you sit in victimhood, and I feel like it's it's a trend today with like this
Yeah.
victim mentality, especially with like teenagers on TikTok and like these sob stories. And I'm like, okay, you want, like you said, you want to be sad. Even with my 7-year-old, see me, you want to be sad, go cry, take 3 minutes, and then come back and let's talk about it. But like, we're done. Like after that, this conversation's over, just because you don't want to sit in that yuckiness, because you could get stuck there as a trap. But nothing is wrong with the sad emotion.
Right.
It's just you can handle it. Like it's not going to control you. So I
Exactly.
love that. It's such
Yeah,
a
yeah.
refreshing, like.
Yeah, it's actually funny because on my way home today from work, the first song that popped up on my Spotify, and it wasn't even like in my playlist or anything, it just popped up, was that song that thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, and then thank you for joy, and thank you for pain, because you need that contrast. God made it that way. You have to have that contrast. It's just how it is, and there's nothing wrong with it. We interpret it as pain, we interpret it as terrible, but really, hey, no, it's just a guidance system. It just helps you get more clear on what you do want, where you want to go, what you want to do, you know, it's contrast. It's good. Like even when breakups and divorces and trust me, I know, but it's just a feeling. It's nothing wrong with it. It's good. It gets your guidance system. So I'm excited to hear what you guys create for yourselves. I'm excited to hear what I create for myself at Pesach too. So we'll see. But yeah, so please share your wins, and if anyone wants to share anything right now too, please do anything. Yeah. Then
So when I share my wins,
yeah.